Hello, Leo, to another timeless, love-variant reading where we discuss however love may be absent or present in your life. Please bear in mind a few things before we get started. Please know that I am Master Seventh, who reads these energies, and also a master healer. Should you be interested in leaning into your own intuition and inquire about my services, the description box below will have information for you. Also know that these messages may resonate more if you are Cancer in Sun, Rising, and or Jupiter position. However, if you're Cancer in Moon, Mercury, and or Venus, you may benefit from my sister channel. The link can be found also in the description box below. And just like these messages, the messages over there are also timeless and may be also beneficial for you. So use that as your own discretion. Feminine and masculine energy are non-gender specific, and past, present, and future energetical timelines always can come forth within a reading. Use your discernment to take all of that which belongs to you, for this is not a personal reading, that we are zeroing in on your story. So take whatever storyline fits you the most and use it using your own discretion. Okay? All right, Leo, let's get started with your reading. Let's see if there's anything comes up before we look into the cards. All right, there's a bit of a mental fog coming through. Some of you might be inundating yourselves with like a lot of political subject at this time, whether it's worldly or world politics, national politics, judicial politics, historical politics as well. More so on those topics rather than it being conspiracy theories. Trying to make sense of just a linear narrative, I guess, that's available to everyone should they be interested to participate in the average know-how of life, okay? And for that, you have a lot of emotions, a lot of opinions, a lot to give, a lot of insight to offer up, a lot of topics to discuss, and I feel the mental fog is present because you don't really have that solid source or network or tribe yet, really, to discuss your topics with. What else? There's someone who, this is a very direct message, but for someone who has had somebody by the name Joe that has passed away, is very much around this person that this message resonates with. I'm seeing a baby footprint tattoo, like someone's thinking about getting tattooed. I'm seeing that some of the, going back to the mental fog a little bit, I'm seeing that there is a need to bring balance, understanding, rhythm, rhyme, and reason to your throat chakra and your third eye chakra. Someone could benefit from oil pulling. Three times a week for 30 days. Someone is considering either applying themselves to color therapy or utilizing color therapy. All right, let's get into your reading, Leo. Oh, I just felt a shift. There may be some need to spiritually protect yourself. Alright, so we have the Star card that is leading the reading. So it's very extremely powerful. It addresses the reason why there's mental fog at this time, because there's a knowing that you have that needs to be spoken on and about and addressed, so that you give yourself the truth that it is of you, moving through you, coming from you, working with you. You are in control, you are in the narrative, you are stable, you are grounded, you are here, you are present, you are grateful, you are inspirational. You are here to affirm the stance of that which it is that you are, okay? I stand, EYE, is to give you that permission to affirm your throat chakra and the third eye chakra. Maybe learning how to move, giving yourself permission to move the energies when you feel physically stuck, feel physically anxious, physically in a panic mode, just to kind of listen to music, listen to the rhythm of the feeling of emotions, and just move, bring rhythm to them by giving yourself permission to dance. There is no real way to dance, just give your body movement, okay? And once you allow yourself to battle that allowance, that courage, you'll automatically feel empowered to just lean into it and see where it takes you, because that's the power of the Star card, giving you permission to trust the journey of movement via healing, via acknowledgement of music, acknowledgement of light, acknowledgement of self, acknowledgement of higher self, acknowledgement to your team, of spirituality, of the esoteric world. Whatever you bring solace to your belief or your inquisition of what belief you'd like to build on and focus from and keep going back to, that ingenuity is being asked to kind of surrender into itself, because you are the mechanism that's guiding everything, and everything that you have yet to experience, and a feeling that's right at your fingertips to experience right now. King of Cups. Ooh. All right. So this is a very strong, beautiful, but very delicate energy, okay? Be kind to yourself as you are maneuvering these difficult subjects as of late or to come, wherever you are. I can see that there is a deep lesson here that needs to be not only accepted but forgiven and perplexed and thought out and released and reincorporated and disciplined. Like, there are so many steps to this feeling that if you're not ready to participate or partake on these steps to figure out this feeling, there are ways to dance with the anxieties in order to get you ready to heal them, okay? And that's like more your ego self almost coming into the picture and creating a world, a safe zone for you until the ego needs to provide itself an ego death and surrender to itself. You're coming in tune with what it means for you to be you by experiencing, I would say, the trust that you're building with your own inner narrative that you call your beliefs, that you call your faiths, even if you in actuality can't really put language to what that is exactly. There is something participatory and you're participating in it. Okay, and that is to you more of your power, even if the rewards don't feel very rewarding at this time. Knight of Wands. The reason why there is maybe not an entire acceptance to the feeling of personal glee and jubilee is because of external forces of spiritual warfare, wanting to distract you from having you figure out more of you. Okay, and this could be anything that's tumultuous that is bringing you to this reading, or having you think about, having you question more or less what it is that you need, because I have a feeling you already know what it is that you need. You feel maybe that you want acknowledgement that it's a real feeling, acknowledgement that it's a valid feeling, that you are quote-unquote not wrong. The only way this sensation can be real is if you allow it to become the master of what it is you created, and you learn how to let it be its own narrative. And when it begins speaking for itself, whether or not you like the tune of what it's saying, and that it's not speaking in the regard of distracting you from thinking you're in control, but more so teaching you how to gain better control of it. If that resonated at all, Leo, congratulations. You're understanding what it means to have a light perspective of a shadow aspect happening in real time. Okay. If you didn't know what shadow is, run this back. Understand maybe what it is that you felt of resonancy, and think about the point, because that is your shadow in in a luminous light. It's in a spotlight. Your shadow is in a spotlight right now. It's being illuminated, but the shadow is telling you, I have a lot to offer you if you understand what song and story I have to say, that I've been listening and creating and dictating this whole entire time, because you gave me permission that I could dictate this version of myself. And it can provide a lot of flexibility if you know how to integrate this character aspect of self and learn how to dictate better choices and have a better sense of control, I would say, in life. times are more or less addressing again the mental fog, because it's too hard to believe in what you already created. Because I think as you start, and here's the chariot. How can I explain it? Without you knowing, you've been challenged to understand your ego, and this could have been a lesson that has gone through for the last year to 3 years. Definitely 2020 beyond, not 2020 and before. It's like you realize that whatever you understand about any type of politics, 2020 is the annular timestamp of your existence in this lifetime, that you're accepting yourself to see the contradiction of 2020, that 2020 provides 2020 vision, you know, and coming to terms with that from a simple measure of that you are a feminine and a masculine energy source is a concept that you can at least have in the esoteric world and say, and not be bullied for using the terms. And outside of that, it's just about getting to know yourself better and building a better relationship with yourself through the decisions that you regret not making and the decisions that you've made that have had consequences because you made them. And learning the difference of the two helps you shape a better, I would say, better dialogue, giving you the courage to still feel confident after making mistakes. To follow this channel is to know that I also deliver the Devil series, which talks about the ego that doesn't know if it's of light and of darkness, so wants to play a game. The ego is more or less, in this reading, that mental fog, the exhaustive state that it's in, that it has run its course and it wants to be done with the task and move on to something else. But it's asking the person that's been feeding the ego what it is that it can now pay attention to and become neurotic in and adventurous in. It's almost like giving yourself permission to exist again, but in a new form of fashion, with a new metamorphosis already have happened. Possibly Kundalini has happened in the last few years for you, in life, just slowly and methodically, with all the timelines from Monday to Sunday, from the 24 hours of the clock, integrating what has happened when you had your Kundalini solar return. And not everything about that journey is understood at every moment, but you can more or less get a window of opportunity to see where you are since that moment, to see where you are, to see your own frequency of existence, and whether or not keep yourself going up the ladder of frequency rather than staying mundane and in the lower realm of possibilities. There are several people that have come in and out of your life in the last few years. The meeting with you and them has been very powerful and impactful. If for some reason life has kept you away from them, and on a journey of self-fulfillment and sovereignty, it's hard to not only build confidence, but to feel grateful that universe is still pushing you in the direction which may seem like a lonesome journey, I would say. Yet when you reflect the steps that you've taken and you allow yourself to absorb the meaning of the steps already taken and the hunger to still want to understand more, is the reason why there is a gap between you and anyone that may have been impactful in life. You have the same amount, if not quote unquote more, to offer, yet you're not accepting a certain version of that self as your own. So the ether has to push you away further into a corner, let's say, so until you get it. The journey that makes that more loud and clear is a journey that a conscious person participates and say, oh, I'm going to address the shadow aspects of myself. I'm going to address the negative attributes of myself, the things that I ignore, that are rough for me to handle, that may trigger people, the uncompromisable parts of me. Those are quote unquote the shadow aspects that also have valid reason and valid existentialism and are part of you. And they help push you to at least understand why you're being pushed into a corner. Because you may then realize once you get there, there was no darkness to bring you there. There was more clarity. And the clarity is a journey through darkness. In inopportunistic times. Yeah, strength card. Your card, coming through. So that is a gift from ether saying, if you know tarot, you know that this card is assigned to you in traditional tarot. And it says that when you are the loudest, you have the best gift to offer in understanding the value of this card, which is that it's really difficult to maneuver emotional life lessons in life. And when you're the loudest in your energies, you make it look very easy. So this is the part where one can zero in a bit on the lesson of this reading and say that, oh, okay, the things to feel abundant on is the fact that I show up to life, show up to feelings, show up to wanting to speak on them, because that notion on itself is bringing you somewhere, because it should never keep you stuck. Yeah, it's taking you somewhere. This knowing of self, this acceptance of self, the creator aspect of your own rhyme and reason, that maybe you don't understand, but it's bringing you somewhere and it's creating something, is subconsciously bringing you to accepting the point of the reading, which may be anything that you need validation in when you came across this reading, and figuring out that you've always could have provided this validation for yourself, that you didn't need this reading to validate that. You don't need anything to validate your existence. You just more or less need to see for yourself where your energy is going and where it's not. And when you can at least see where it's going, where it's not, then you can zero in on the lesson on the Two of Swords energy. That means, yeah, some decisions you made up to this point may be regrettable. Some decisions up to this point may have given you consequences that needed more attention than you anticipated, yet overall there's something there. And if you acknowledge that, then you're one step closer to, again, the whole reason as to what you think you are missing and why you're here in this reading that needs validation at this time. We have Page of Swords, education. And that kind of pings me in the beginning of the reading where it says, where I said, what you know. There's a reason as to why you know what you know, and that's part having to do with your natural interests and your natural talents and hobbies, and if they're telling you we want more of that, that there is a time in this niche that it could bring you to a position of teaching, maybe someone else or something else what it is that you know. We have Three of Swords, heartbreak, and the Lovers here again, decisions. I think the toughest lesson for you are all the relationships and friendships, the relationships of either friendships, the relationships of family, and the relationships of romantic partners. Understanding them and the ones of the past and the ones currently that can't make a commitment to you is kind of like the elephant in the room that needs addressing. And you want to know who, what, when, where, and why, yet the universe won't provide that for you unless you understand the who, what, when, where, and whys of yourselves, both of feminine energy and both of masculine energy. For that, it's a continuous cycle of you feeling heartbroken, and you may be leaning towards tarot, or also hearing online dating and blind dates to get that emotional void fulfilled, when maybe up to this point of having gone through that adventure and that experience, you've been unfulfilled and you're not understanding why. And maybe now this has brought some clarity, and if it did, you're one whole step closer to getting yourself out of a situation and a cycle that isn't beneficial for you. Alright, that is all that I have for you at this time. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether at this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing.